to start part 3 of setting up a new homeschool year. I am really excited to get started on this last part. Before we get started, welcome to this House of Walls. My name is Ashley, and on this channel I love to share all things homeschooling and books. Today is very much so homeschooling. So we are here in the schoolroom, and tomorrow is our last day of our school year. So that means I get to start moving out some of the old stuff and moving in the new stuff. I did start a little bit today. I went through this bookcase right here. This tends to be kind of my bookcase where I put supplies and teacher guides and stuff like that. And so I started going through it. So this one is empty. And I think that's where I'm going to put all of our read alouds that we are going to do next year for Build Your Library. I went through this whole system here and really went through and organized it again. And I'll show a close-up in a second of what is in there. I went through some of the teacher guides and everything like that. Everything that we are not using for tomorrow is out. It has started. I also dusted because it has been a while since I have dusted back here. I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you what I have started and kind of go from there. All right, so here we are. This is my little corner over here. These are curriculum things that I need to get rid of. Bottom 2 shelves are just where I put some extras. This cubby right here I have organized with all kinds of stuff that I don't really know where else to put it, so that's where it goes in here. This one is all math manipulatives, and then curriculum, and like I said, this is only stuff that we're using tomorrow, and then that's it. This one will be books. These little drawers I organized with pens and any kind of stuff that I might need. Paper, printer ink, and then up top you can see I was dusting. I have our clock that we use and some things that I'm going to use to decorate our room for tomorrow, the printer. This is all looking so much better. I also cleaned off the cork boards, so we just have end of spelling sheet there to celebrate that my son finished spelling. I also pulled out all of his books today that he read because I made a video about it. So I'll link that down below if you want to see what we read for my 3rd grader this year. And then that's it. Tomorrow I'm going to start going through some stuff and getting rid of it. This is what the rest of our schoolroom looks like right now. So I am going to kind of finish putting some stuff away, prepping, and later I'm going to start decorating and just kind of making it fun for a celebration tomorrow. So I will show you that when I get to it. All right, I wanted to give an update because I have been busy. We came back from our little vacation for Memorial Day weekend and have been busy. So I have put in all of my teacher guides here. Right here, I have put all of our literature books. So the ones standing up are for my 3rd grader, and the ones on the side are for my 7th grader, and then I had to stick some in the back because they just wouldn't fit. So this area is set up, and then let me show you over here. So this is where my 4th grader's work will be. So right here are all of his workbooks and everything. Down here are all the books and resources for Build Your Library. And over here in this, I will put the books that we are doing that week for Build Your Library, and then any completed books we'll put there. And then same kind of setup here for my 8th grader, all of his workbooks, his books and resources, books that we'll use that week, and completed books there. So that is what I have set up there. I have also been going through Build Your Library and figuring out the first 4 weeks, that'll be our first month of school, and how to work it. We are planning that day 4 of our week, which is Thursdays, is going to be only literature and reader, not even math. Like, we're not doing anything else that day. We are only covering our literature and our reader because in September our co-op will start again. So we want to have time for all of that. So it's only books that day. So I've gone through and reorganized some things. I have gone through all the activity pages and read about it. What do I need? Do I need any extra printable? Anything like that. So just here's an example of what I did for week 2. So you can see how we are really making this a 4-day week program, except for literature and reader. So I have printed out a bunch of stuff here and organized it. So these are all of the activity pages that come with Story of the World. And so I just went through. I don't know that we'll use all of them, but these are all for the first 4 weeks. And so I might encourage him to glue it in. I think we'll use these maps to just kind of help talk about what we're reading about. So I have that all set up. I have also set up these literature vocabulary words. So in Build Your Library, there are vocabulary words that go with the literature books. And I would like for us to write it down and just kind of be a little bit more familiar with it than just talking about it. So I made this up and printed it out. My printer was a little funky when I was printing it, but oh well. So I have a bunch of those. And then this is all the copy work that comes with the literature for Build Your Library. And so I just copied it onto here and printed it out. What I will do is when we get to it, I'll cut it out and then he can glue it into his notebook and have it there to copy. Build Your Library does come with vocabulary words already printed out for science. So I have those here and all ready to go into a science journal. I have a science activity and another science activity that will have to be printed out. There's 10 pages of these cards, so I might sit down and do that while I'm watching a movie or something and do that. So that is what I have for my 4th grader so far, and I am about to do the same with my 7th grade or my 8th grader. Yikes, I can't keep that straight. All right, it is a while later, but I have finally gone through Build Your Library level 7 and organized it. So I have a little folder here. So I really had to go through and figure everything out, but I have week to week, day by day, what he will be doing. I have the first 4 weeks ready to go with that. I have science vocabulary words that he'll put into a science journal, literature vocabulary words, and I guess that's it. Any extra printables that he needed, I put with the week that it was needed. So that in itself didn't take the longest. What took the longest was I was a couple weeks in, and I'm just showing this one as an example. We have a couple books that we are having to change out, and I had forgotten. So I had to go back and fix some things. And then I did go through the first 12 weeks, and first on this page marked that we're using a different book. But then in the actual laid out part, I had to say what we were using and go through the books and find the pages that we needed to match the key idea and topic. So that was for human geography. And then I had to do the same for a bunch of science ones too. So that really took the longest. I went through and did the first 12 weeks and then put a note on week 13 that I need to do the same thing. So at least we have a nice little start. And on that note, I am pausing for today on more prep for our school year, and I will be back later. All right, just a little bit of an update. It is the next day, and I'm sitting here in the morning before our day really gets going, and just kind of going through my planner again and making sure everything kind of lines up correctly. So this is for my 4th grader. And I've shown this where I have everything laid out, all of his subjects broken down, and then I can jot down notes of how long it will take us and how many days a week we're going to do it, things like that, so I can really kind of map it out. So I have gone through and made sure that all of this is correct, well, except for Beowulf's, that's a little funky, but with things like word ladders and word roots beginning and editor-in-chief, handwriting, I figured that if we do 2 pages, only 1 day a week, it'll take us 45 weeks. But our first couple of weeks, we don't need to be doing word ladders because it's only going to take us 33 weeks. So we're going to fill in with some extra handwriting. So definitely kind of puzzling it all together, which it definitely is. Word roots beginning is going to take really kind of 38 weeks. And we only school for 36 weeks. So that might be a little bit of a problem, but I'm guessing that at the end of the year when things start being finished, we'll be able to pick up and do some more word roots. Things like editor-in-chief, we're going to go kind of pacing. I don't know if it's going to take half a lesson or a lesson per week. Let me show you why. All right, so sometimes the beginning lesson is really long. And then after the lesson, there's always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs to edit. And then you go into the next lesson. So punctuation is another really long one, and then 6. Spelling rules. I mean, some of these, we really kind of want to talk about and go through. So the lesson itself might take most of our time. And then 6. But then lesson 4, articles. He knows articles already. This isn't going to take that long for him to go over. And then there's the 6. So we're going to have to really kind of plan it lesson to lesson and how long it takes us to get through the actual lesson. And then as these get a little bit more challenging, I think it'll take us longer on the paragraphs. So there's no clear-cut answer for this. It's going to have to be, we will wait and see. But looking through word roots, you can see I found it's going to be 38 weeks long. We're going to do a lesson a week, 1 day a week. And even these, they're not the same size for each lesson. So lesson 1 has 1, 2, 3 pages. Lesson 2 has 1, 2, 3, 4. There's even some that are only 2 pages long. That's all right. We're just going to go with it and just do a lesson a week. Yeah, lesson 4 is only front and back. That's just going to be how it works out. So that is what I'm doing here. I'm going to go through for my 8th grader and kind of do the same thing. And then we're going to go have a fun summer day together. All right. It has been a while since I have given an update for homeschool planning part 3. Honestly, we've just kind of been busy. Things have been happening slowly and I haven't had a big time to sit down and do stuff where I would pick up and start filming. So I thought I would just kind of come on and talk about stuff. If the camera starts shaking, I have a cat and also my parents' dog in here with me, so somebody might rub up against the stand or walk past it and hit it with their big old dog booty. But let's talk about some things that I have bought lately. I didn't need a whole bunch of stuff. Just some kind of things that either we kind of ran out of, things like that. So I bought a bunch of markers. We just haven't used a lot of markers in our homeschool so far. My favorite are the twistable crayons and colored pencils. Those just work really well for us. But my youngest requested some markers. So I just got these Crayola. I grabbed a whole bunch, but I have a whole lot more in the drawer over there. So nice little add to our school. Scissors are one of those things that we never seem to have enough of. So got a 3-pack of scissors. Now both of my kids are older. They want more substantial scissors, not like trainer scissors. So got those. From Amazon, I got their Amazon Basics pencils. So we'll see. I've always kind of spent the more money and gotten the better brand, but this was a good price, and I don't know, my kids just being that much older, we'll see how these work. And it doesn't matter if they work well or not because there's 150 of them, so they will work. To go off of the pencils, I also bought a bunch of erasers because erasers on pencils never last long enough, and having black erasers just doesn't really work. So I have more. I just kind of put these, it looks like a shot glass, it's not. I think it was like a little dessert that came in here once. So I put them into here. I also bought a ton of mechanical pencils. Again, just my kids being that much older, thought, yep, let's have a bunch of mechanical pencils. So I definitely encourage my kids when they are doing schoolwork to either use a pencil or a pen that erases. They work great because one of the joys of homeschooling is that we can go back and erase our work and fix it. So I definitely encourage things that can be erased. For me, I love to use these Papermate pens. They are phenomenal. So I had quite a few, but I was kind of running low. Sometimes I would be writing on one midweek and it would just run out of ink. So I bought a huge mega pack of all kinds of different colors. This isn't even all of them. This is what brings me some joy in the day, is to use different colored pens. And then I think that the last kind of school supply thing that I bought was just a bunch of filler paper or loose leaf paper, whatever you want to call it, because with our writing we are going to need a bunch of loose leaf paper, and also my kids just like to write on paper for whatever reason, not involving schoolwork. So I think 3 or 4 of these I think I bought. All of this I will try to link down below. Some came from Target, some came from Amazon. So I'll try to find the links and link everything down below. And then I almost forgot, I have one more thing to talk about. I bought a mega pack of dry erase markers. Again, I was just going through markers at the end of the school year and some were just really drying out. So I decided to buy a huge pack and just have them handy as needed. So there's that. Got those put away. Now I have some other stuff to share. So I have a video, I'll link it down below. As I'm filming this, the video is not out yet, but it will be when I post this. But for my 4th grader, Math with Confidence came in, and so I have a whole flip through and unboxing video of that. So that is all set to go. He has a little paper clip in there. I'm undecided yet if I'm going to take this and get it spiral bound. I really need to sit down because my son was he wasn't sure what he wanted to do. But it is ready to go. And then going through Build Your Library Level 3. So there's a couple things that I've been working on. I went through the PDF and got out the first literature book and the first reader that we will be using. So the first reader that we'll be using is Out of Many Waters. Sorry, there's no good way to show it without a glare. And then his first reader is A Lion to Guard Us. I learned last year with my oldest son that having tabs just helps to visually see how much needs to be read that day. I think that the only thing that I am finding is we are using technically a lower level than like for his age. Level 3, it does go 8 to 10, and he will be turning 10 halfway through the school year. So he is kind of on it. He's on the like tail end of it. The reader, when I was tabbing, I was finding it's only a few pages every day. So like, this is what the beginning looks like. So it starts on page 1 and it only goes to, you stop at page 6 and then start page 7 the next day. He is reading more than that already, more between like 10 to 15 pages at a time. So I'm undecided if I want to keep it this amount of pages or possibly double up and then fill in with other books in between Build Your Library books. So I'm not totally sure. I did ask on a Facebook Build Your Library group, and they kind of let the kids read however much they want. So we will see. Either way, both of these are tabbed and ready to go. So once I did that, kind of ready, I have these bins to put the books in there. So that is what I did. I have gone through for week 1 and put all the books in there. Let me hold it up. So these are all the books that we will be using. I do have the literature book there in the back, just because they won't all fit side by side. So we have the 2 books. Then for history, we will be using Story of the World and Usborne Encyclopedia of World History. For science, week 1, we will be doing How to Think Like a Scientist. For art, we will be doing this DK, the Arts Visual Encyclopedia. And then for poetry, he'll go through some of the Poetry of Science. Hold that up again. And there are all the books that we will be using for week 1. And then for my 8th grader, similar things to talk about. So his math came in. Again, the video will be linked down below. It will be posted by the time that I post this video, but we are using Denison Pre-Algebra, and so I have a flip through of that. And then again, I went through and tabbed our first literature and reader for Build Your Library. So our first literature book is Ancestor Approved, and his first reader is, long title, The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making. So those are both all ready to go. And then this is what his bin will look like for the first week. So he is going to be using DK Smithsonian Geography, a Visual Encyclopedia, The Wondrous Workings of Planet Earth. This next one is one that I have filled in, and we're using a different thing because I already had something on my shelves, but DK Encyclopedia of Animals. Again, if the camera's shaking, the cat has decided to, she's basically sitting under the camera and rubbing up against the camera stand. No, she's really mad at me because I just scooted her away, so. Oh, feisty. His next thing that he'll do is Tree of Life, and then Geography through Art. And the last one is Usborne Encyclopedia World Religions. Again, I will hold that up. And there we have it. So their shelves are all ready to go. I will insert a picture right here so you can see they are nicely filled and totally ready for the first day, which is rapidly approaching. All right, and then I think that the last thing that I want to share for this video, because now we're kind of really planned. Everything is kind of ready to go. There will be a couple things that I need to do in the next couple weeks to get ready, which it is. I think we're like halfway through our summer break, which it was only 6 weeks long, but I think we're halfway through. We're doing pretty good. But one of the things that I did with their math is I wrote it into my planner. So this is 4th grade Math with Confidence. It'll take us 36 weeks with doing it 4 times a week. So that will be fun and busy. And then for my 8th grader, I wrote in Denison Math Pre-Algebra. The only thing is that when I was writing it, it didn't list the actual tests, so I just wrote them underneath. But there it is, all ready to go. And then I think that's where I'm gonna leave this video. I think we're off to a really good start to make the final push and get ready for the school year. Some upcoming videos that I will be posting is a full room tour. Not a whole lot has changed, but I like to start the school year with a fresh room tour. And then I will also be sharing what I am doing to set up for the first day of school. I will not be filming our first day of school. I find is too crazy, and we just want to come in and have it be crazy enough being all new material, stuff like that. So definitely keep an eye out for those videos. And if you have watched all 3 parts of this, thank you so much. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Kind of seeing like behind the scenes of not just here's the curriculum, but a little bit like, okay, great, I have this curriculum. Now what do I do with it? How do I plan it and hope to implement it the best way possible? If you missed the first 2 videos, I will link them down below. There's going to be a lot of links down below, so hopefully it's not too crazy. And on that note, thank you for watching. If you like this or anything else that I post here on this channel, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and I will be back for more soon.